All right, this is your video on how to combine like terms. So in your packet, we're on page 25, and you can see the examples below. Um, we have some highlighter colors up here, some pen colors up here. You go ahead right now and take out your own highlighters or pens. It's going to be helpful to have two colors, and you'll see why in just a minute. Okay, like terms have the same variable and same exponent. Now the exponent deal you're going to deal with more when it comes to actual algebra 1 instead of a pre-algebra concept. For now, we're going to be talking about the variables and the number terms. So you're going to hear me say variable term. Don't forget, anything I write down, you write down. And number term. If I'm talking about a variable term, it's going to be like 3x or negative 5y or 1/2 c, something like that. A number term is just a plain number, 10, negative 2, positive 12. Okay, so when I say those things, you can refer back up here to know what I'm talking about. So what we're going to do here is we're going to combine like terms. Combining like terms, well, first of all, we have to find what are the like terms. Like terms are things that have the same variable. And if you look at number 1, it's a really easy one to get started with here because in this very first one, they're both k terms. They're both k. So see, I think I am actually going to make this bigger. It might take a minute to get the highlighter activated, but that's okay. All right, so I see right here I have negative 6k and I have positive 7k. Those are like terms, so you can use the same color there. Okay, so go ahead and take your color out. If you have like an actual color, like a pen, you can kind of box it like this so that you're using the same color there. Okay, now we treat it like we do with our integers. So I know that negative 6k and positive 7k are like terms, so I can combine them. You can only combine like terms. You can't combine unlike terms, and we'll get to that in a minute since number 1 only has like terms. So since the k tells me that they are like terms, I can combine them. So now you just think to yourself, what's negative 6 plus 7? And that is positive 1. So I can write my answer as 1k or just k. Like the distributive property, these are just expressions. We're not solving anything. We are just simplifying. So there's nothing to solve here. We don't know what k is. K could be anything because it's not set equal to something. So in the future, you might see something like this, negative 6k plus 7k. And when I say might, I mean you will, because you'll see it very, very soon. If you have negative 6k plus 7k equals, 15. I don't even know what that would be, but you could solve it and figure out what k is. Okay, on to number 2, right next door. If you look next door, I see that I have 12r minus 8 minus 12. So which ones are alike? Which of those numbers are alike? There's only one r term. So since there's only one r term, that one is unlike the others. So I can see that I have two number terms. I have negative 8 and I have negative 12. So those two can be combined. The 12r, though, cannot be combined. The 12r cannot be combined. So that one's on its own. When you have something by itself, you can just write it. You're not going to combine it with anything, so you can just leave that one as it is. Just like the distributive property, you're going to see the variable term written first, usually, and the number term written second. Okay, so now you have to combine negative 8 and negative 12. So think about what negative 8 and negative 12 would be. Or negative 8 minus 12, which is negative 20. So you can write minus 20. And that's all you have to do. We're just simplifying. I cannot, and this is where a lot of kids are going to make a mistake, I cannot combine an r term with a number term. These are unlike. Okay? These are unlike. You can also write it as 12r plus negative 20. That's the same thing. Okay, let's try number 3. And I'm actually going to take a moment. I want to make these problems a little bigger. They're kind of small. So bear with me for a second. I'm just going to make this bigger. All right, so now let's take a look at number 3. Okay, for number 3, I can see that I have a positive n, and I'll go to a pen on this one so that those of you using a pen can see what that would look like too. I have positive n, and the reason it's positive is because there's nothing in front of it. And then I have a positive 9n. So those are alike. Okay, so I have 1n and 9n. They're both positive. That would be 10n. Okay, the other ones I can do in a different color. Negative 10, negative 3. What do I get when I combine negative 10 and negative 3? I get negative 13. So now I literally just put these two together. So I can just write 10n minus 13. Now those two are unlike, so I may not combine those. Okay, in number 4, I see two x terms. So here's a negative 4x and a negative 10x. Pay attention to how I say that because the sign in front is a negative and the sign in front is a negative. So whenever that happens, I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to what's in front of the number. That tells me if it's a positive or negative term. Okay, what do I get when I combine negative 4x and negative 10x? Negative 14x. And that's it. There's no other terms there. Okay, number 5. Remember, anytime you see, like this is negative r and this is negative 10r, negative r means negative 1r. So if you're not sure, it's not 0, okay? It's not nothing. If it was 0r, it would say 0, and it would also be the number 0, since anything times 0 is 0. Okay, so I have negative 1r and negative 10r. And that would be negative 11r. Okay, I'm going to leave some of these. I want you to, let's see, I actually want you to try 6, 7, and 8 all by yourself. Try those on your own. Practice using the highlighter or the different colors for the different terms. Go ahead and do that, and then I'll unveil them one at a time. So you can, pause it, and then if you just want to try 6 and see how you did, then 7, then 8, or you can try all 3. It's up to you. Okay, for number 6, did you box negative 2x and positive 6x the same color? And then positive 11 a different color, or highlight, same thing. Okay, so the blue ones, negative 2x and positive 6x would be positive 4x. And then I don't have to do anything with the positive 11, just keep the sign in front of it. And that's it, 4x plus 11. Okay, number 7. I'll go back to the highlighter for those of you that are highlighting so you can see. This would be positive 11r, and this would be negative 12r. So those are the same. Those are like terms. And since I have positive 11 and negative 12, that would be negative 1r. Okay, and then with number 8, I have negative v and positive 12v. Those are alike, so negative 1v and positive 12v would be 11v. Okay, we are actually going to turn the page to some that have a little more to them so that we can practice doing a couple more difficult ones. Okay, let's go down to, let's do number 21. Okay, this one combines like terms and distributive property. So don't forget with the distributive property, I'm distributing the 7, the positive 7 to the positive 1, and the positive 7 to the negative 3m. I don't do anything with this negative 4 because it is not being multiplied by the inside term, and it is not inside the parentheses itself. So the negative 4 is just already done on its own. Now I need to do 7 times 1, which is 7, positive 7. Then my next arrow says do positive 7 times negative 3m, and that's negative 21m. Remember, at any point that you have a question, make sure that you, bring that up or say, why did you do this? Or how come we write it this way? Okay. All right, so now I need to find my like terms, and it looks like I only have these two plain number terms, and then I just have on my own, on its own here is the negative 21m. I'm actually going to write that one first. Like I said, you're usually going to see that variable term first. Okay, now combine negative 4 and positive 7, and you get positive 3. Again, we're not solving. That is all I have to do when I'm simplifying this expression. Okay, why don't you try, we're actually going to skip number 23. Why don't you try number 25 on your own? Go ahead and try number 25. Leave the 9a, multiply positive 10 times positive 6a, multiply positive 10 times negative 1. Okay, write it out, and then if you want to stop there, you can, and you can see what it should be long ways before we combine like terms. Okay, when you did 10 times 6a, did you get positive 60a? And when you do 10 times negative 1, did you get negative 10 or minus 10? Okay, hopefully you did. If not, you can fix it. Remember, we are multiplying the outside term by all the inside terms. So now I can see that I have positive 9a, positive 60a, and negative 10 by itself. Okay, so I combine positive 9 and positive 60. That's pretty simple. And then I just leave the minus 10. So I have 69a minus 10. And that's it. Remember, nothing to solve. It is not set equal to something. It is just an expression. Okay, for number 27. Number 27. It's got two sets of distributive property. So first we're going to distribute this one, negative 10 times positive 1 minus 9x. Then I have a positive 6 times x minus 10. So be very careful. You're going to want four numbers here. Negative 10 times 1, negative 10 times negative 9x, positive 6 times x, positive 6 times negative 10. Just write those four terms out. See if you can get those right to start with. Again, pause it and see how you did. Okay, did you get negative 10 for the first term, positive 90x for the second term, positive 6x for the third term, and negative 60 for the fourth term? Remember, we're putting everything together here. So this came from negative 10 times positive 1. This came from negative 10 times negative 9x. This term came from positive 6 times positive x. And this last term came from positive 6 times negative 10. Okay, now, let's see. Let's use a highlighter here. Okay, I've got yellow. So let's highlight the numbers, negative 10, negative 60. And we'll pick a new color for the x terms, positive 90x, positive 6x. Okay, now combine the x terms and then combine the number terms. This is 96x. And then I'm going to combine negative 10 and negative 60. That's negative 70, or I can write it as minus 70. Okay, that's going to be a wrap on the video. That's plenty of examples for combining like terms. You can rewatch the beginning if that part was confusing, and then in class we will go ahead and complete those problems that we did not do in the video.